department where you are in, sir, the Department of Anthropology and Sociology, has recently been named as a center of development by the Commission on Higher Education.
That's correct, ma'am. So we are the center of development.
Yes.
And we are also promoting or developing a program, a PhD program in environmental anthropology. And as I've said, this is really a great opportunity because we would be able to provide people an idea of what we have here in Dumaguete, at Silliman, and Negros Island in general.
Correct. And you came at exactly an opportune time, Miss Aizel, because this is when our Buglasan Festival of Festivals is being held. And as you had mentioned, this is your first time to come back after 20 years. No? So how has it been in the past when your organization also came over to host? I think we played host to you, right? 20 years ago?
Yes, I think in the early years of UGAT, Silliman has been very active in hosting the conference. I think more than once.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
I think
our
so.
this is our third
Third
time
time,
already.
yeah.
Third
It's our
time,
third
yes.
time. First was in 1981. I was yet an undergrad student
First
at that
time
time.
for Silliman, sir,
For
to host.
Silliman.
Okay.
And then we have 2006.
I
And then
remember
now,
that,
so
yes.
2015. So this is the third
Yes.
time.
So how many participants are you expecting po, Miss Aizel?
We're expecting about 150 to 200 participants
Okay,
Yeah.
and they come from all over the country?
all
Oh.
over the country and other parts of Southeast Asia.
Okay, so they are all anthropology and sociology professors?
And all those who love anthropology
Oh, yes.
and sociology. So
Okay.
not necessarily. And of course, those in geography.
Okay,
Because
great.
we have also speakers and lecturers in the field of geography, right? Yeah.
I noticed that you have an illustrious roster of speakers. Perhaps you can mention some of the well-known speakers that you have invited, Dr. Ike.
Well, first of all, I'd like to show a rundown of how many sessions, how many
yes.
panels. We have about 30 parallel panels divided into 9 sessions with an average of 4 papers presentation per panel. And there would be 4 plenary papers or lectures. And we have renowned scholars on maritime culture. For example, Dr. Sinya Nerizayas. We have Dr. Rila Mukherjee of University of Hyderabad. And I think we have also the father of Ugat coming. I just learned this afternoon.
Who is?
Professor Ponciano Binagin.
Oh,
He's
so
the founding
president?
Yes, he's the founding president of UGAT, and he was also one of the commissioners during the 1986 Constitutional Convention.
Okay, how old is UGAT, by the way? So, if it was founded in the 1980s?
It was founded in 1977
Oh.
and was registered with the SEC in 1979.
So actually, when we hosted, I think we're the third here at Silliman. This 81.
Okay, the third
Yeah,
time.
the third, yeah.
The third time that we had hosted it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. In the past conferences that you have had, whether here in Dumaguete or in other parts of the country, perhaps you can describe to us how a scenario, how the usual scenario goes. I think you may have parallel sessions, right? Because with the 30 or so sessions, at least now, that's the number of sessions that you have now here in Silliman, I think it may also be the same scenario in the past, no? So how usually do you conduct your sessions?
Usually, first we have the plenary sessions. Everybody attends,
Yes, that's
and then we
everybody
have
converges, yes.
and then we have the parallel sessions. Each speaker is given 15 minutes to present the highlights of
Yes.
the study,
research, yes.
whatever they are doing. And then after each presentation, all the presentations, you have an open forum where it is expected that you'll have a lively discussion and
Definitely.
sharing of um,
Maybe insights.
yeah, insights
ideas.
and also critique.
Yes, and
Yeah.
critique of the studies that have been made. No?
Sir. Usually in this conference also, some papers are presented first. Eventually, they are being improved, no, based on the comments, and that's what I did all the time. So I present my paper first,
Okay.
get all the comments from the audience, get beautiful ideas, and integrate that on my paper, then publish my paper.
So as a result
as
of what happens
usually.
in the UGAT conferences. So in other words, all these papers or all these paper presentations are what you would call essentially as works in progress?
Not
Perhaps?
not necessarily.
Okay.
Some
there-
of them are completed.
Yes, or there may be certain topics or certain paper presentations that may have been, finalized, some time ago, presented in the UGAT conference and perhaps also see print or
Yes.
see publication.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oo. Among those that you have invited, Dr. Oracion, I wonder if there are certain topics that would be of interest to, somebody like me who may also be into social science. I noticed that you have something here on communication and the media. I think
That's
going
correct.
to be,
Yeah.
that actually caught my attention. I
And we
think
have
that's
one from
going to be
Siliman is
somewhere-
going to present.
And
Dr. Rose Basileres.
Oh, good.
She's going to present her paper
Oh, good.
about communication and the success on CRM.
Yes, that's our USAID project,
Yes, that is
right?
before.
On coastal resource management. Yes, that is right. Because after all, the theme of your conference is on Dagat. Dagat would be the sea
Yeah.
and life.
And life.
Kinabuhi, right?
Yeah.
Maritime culture, spaces, and networks. Now, I'm curious because the topics for your plenary definitely also deal on the marine protected areas. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
interrupted you. I'm curious. Why this particular theme for this year's conference? Maritime culture, spaces, and networks. Was there a concerted effort among the members of UGAT, for example, or among the officers for you to come up with this particular theme?
It happened in Baguio, or I think actually every end of the conference, the members
Yes.
would meet and then talk about what's possible topic, and
Okay.
there are several topics being presented, and finally they would decide on one particular topic which would be of major interest. And by the way, one very interesting thing about the conference is the presentation about the South Philippine Sea, right? And
Yeah.
there would be, in fact, the exhibit is right now at the Siliman Library. The old maps about the contested marine spaces in South Philippine Sea.
Okay.
So I think it's like that, no? From a micro level to a macro level presentation of
Okay.
issues. So from the life of a fisher to the life of the nation. So it's really very interesting. It's something that combines all issues together that affect personal lives
That's
as
true.
well as
That's
national
true.
security.
Yeah, I even noticed one particular topic here on the Scarborough Shoal. Aside from that, that
Yeah.
you had mentioned, Dr. Oracion. I wonder if the panel, the members of the panel who are supposed to give their paper presentations would also have time for maybe like coming together, all of them probably in one session, and something like a plenary, and all the participants would be able to engage them also in an open forum. Would that be possible? Because after all, you have plenary, right?
Yeah.
Plenary, and at the same time, parallel
Parallel
sessions.
session.
Okay, this is what I was trying to drive at also. What if I'm interested in, let us say, 2 or 3, I've attended some conferences
That's
where
always
there
a
are
problem.
parallel
Yes,
sessions,
that's
okay?
correct.
And then you go over the several topics and you say, I'm interested in this one. I'm also interested in this one. Now, how will I, if I, the ordinary participant,
Okay.
choose, have you done a preliminary grouping of the participants, or are the participants given the
Option.
opportunity or the
Yeah.
option to choose? Yes,
Um,
Miss Aiza.
all the participants choose the paper presentations that they want to listen to.
Prior to their coming over, or maybe while they are scouting around for
Yeah.
a nice topic or session.
Maybe prior to before coming
Okay.
before they came here,
Publish
they
the website,
yeah,
right?
because
Yes,
the program has already been
Yes,
posted in the website.
Correct.
So
they would
yeah.
already know and have an idea of what the topics are,
Yeah.
and what the sessions are, and where to go. Yes.
But
okay. Yes,
that's
sir.
really interesting
Yeah.
because I have that kind of problem also. Every time I attend a
Yes,
conference,
yes. And if
when-
they have parallel
yeah, when I
sessions,
look into the papers, everything is interesting.
all are interesting.
So
Yes.
here, I think at Silliman, we made it a point that the distance from one session to the other
It's
is
not
not
too
that
far.
far. I mean, so we have
Okay.
the plenary in audio visual theater one.
Okay.
Then we have
Another
the
session.
sessions, breakaway sessions in multipurpose hall,
Okay. Which is just
just adjacent.
Yes, yes.
Then we have with the Knowledge Development Center, World Bank inside the library,
Yes.
and the American Studies Resource Center.
Okay,
So if you feel like because there you know that every presentation is 15 minutes.
Okay.
You can just run from one session to the
so
other.
that's possible. You're not very
Yes,
strict
it's-
at participants being in one particular session.
Yeah.
So you can cross, or a participant can cross. Have there been instances where, I'm just curious, no, and probably thinking aloud, are there instances when maybe one session has a bigger audience than the other session? And will the speakers not mind? Will the paper presenters not mind at all?
Oh,
Miss
that's
Aisel.
really possible.
Possible
There
din,
are
oh.
some sessions where
Oo.
everyone is there practically,
Okay,
and there
oo.
are other sessions
Oo,
that only
yes.
a few people are
Correct,
there.
correct, oo.
But well, I think the speakers shouldn't mind. It's not because they are not interested, but
yes, yes.
people really come to learn and
correct.
choose what they are most interested in
That's
because
true.
it's related to their work.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it's a marketplace of
Yes.
ideas.
And perhaps if one speaker is, you cannot really avoid it, more well known than the other speaker, or perhaps he or she may have been, is more familiar with some of the participants.
Yeah.
So then that would attract more participants to that particular session. But I think our participants overall are not only analytical, no, but also I think you're correct. They're a marketplace of ideas where they can maybe hop from one session to another and hopefully come up with a convergence of what it was that they were listening to, even if they were only able to listen for about maybe 5 minutes or perhaps a few minutes.
That's correct.
In one session. Yes, sir.
Yeah, take note that this is also a market of ideas.
Okay.
So, moving from one session to the other
Okay.
is possible.
Yeah.
And along the way, you would be linking with researchers. It's an opportunity also to ask for materials and other things that the particular paper presenters have, which is always a welcome opportunity.
That's true.
And I think this is really one thing that we are promoting among budding anthropologists as well as those who love anthropology, to really explore many possibilities. And every year we change
venues
theme and
okay,
venues
yes,
and
hosts,
and
no? Host
uh,
cities.
So it's as you go around the Philippines,
Okay.
you would be establishing networks also.
Yes.
So just like what we have right now, we're
That's
talking
true.
about maritime, marine networks. So
Yeah.
anthropology is like
Yes.
that.
Dr. Oracion, I'd like to relate this particular conference forthcoming on Thursday to a recent conference that you had also attended, because I think it's also sociology, anthropology related. Maybe you can tell us very briefly about that one, sir.
That's the Philippine Sociological Society.
I see. Okay.
And that was hosted by Mindanao State University, Iligan
MSU,
Institute
okay.
of Technology. So I was there. I presented the paper.
Okay.
It's actually chapter 1 of what I'm going to present.
In
this
this,
time. This is chapter 2.
oh, for this coming conference, sir.
In that conference, the theme is peace and or conflict and peace, like that.
Yes,
So I was talking about political rivalry and marine protected areas. And here I'll be talking also about conflict on or the tensions on marine environment protection, because not everyone would see the same thing
That's true.
similarly. That's
true.
often the cause
Yes,
of conflict.
yes, po, Miss Aizel.
Yeah, that's what makes Ugat interesting. Like for us in Davao, I was telling Sir Ike that the marine environment is very new to us because all of the faculty
Okay.
connected with the anthropology department are working on indigenous peoples issues.
Yes,
So
because that's your thrust
yeah.
naman po in Davao.
Yeah, so
Okay.
our environment is the mountains. So, and
Yes,
the first time we went down and studied coastal areas, everything was new to us because we were not familiar with the wind, current.
Where was this po,
Uh-uh.
Miss Aizel? When you came over here? Or-
Yeah, so we're really interested.
I
The whole
see,
faculty of
yes.
Ateneo de Davao,
Uh-uh.
all the faculty members of the anthropology department are coming because
Wow.
we really want to learn.
Great,
Because
great. Yeah.
studying the marine life is very new to us.
New
or-
to you, yes.
Yeah.
Because after all, you come from a different environment. Your perspective may also be, not really colored by what your environment dictates, but that's actually the culture also in Davao. Yeah, that's exactly what makes attending conferences such as this. Because after all, anthropology and sociology, as Dr. Aracion of course should know, and Ms. Aizel too, is part of an entire social science viewpoint. No?
Yeah.
So it's a convergence actually. Now, in the parallel sessions, this is where many people would be interested in as well. No? Are there chances where is there a chance where the participants would be able to get a copy, perhaps? I wonder, of the paper presentations, or is this something that they should not exactly expect, but should simply just take down notes, or perhaps go on a recording?
Yeah, they can ask the author for copies of the paper if they're interested. Usually we produce a journal
Yes.
after the
Okay.
conference.
Yeah.
So, but it's a referee. Agham
Yes.
Tao is a referee
Yes.
That's
journal.
of-
Yeah.
That's the name of the journal.
But
Agham
of course,
Tao.
of course, we have the abstract. We have
Yes,
the book
yes,
of
yes,
abstract.
okay.
And Aisel is correct. You could the person interested on particular
Yes,
topic
yes.
could ask the presenter
Yes.
directly, and we're always willing to share because
Okay.
that's always
Yes,
the purpose.
exactly.
So, and of course, at the end, this would be published. Some of this would be published, and that would be available next year.
Okay.
And
Yes.
And the journals will be coming also, so that would be distributed
After the conference
during
already?
registration.
During
but
the
when-
conference.
When was the journal completed actually? Is this something, a product of a previous
Last year.
conference?
Last year's
okay.
conference.
Last
Yeah.
year, but that
Yeah.
would be for members if
Um,
you register as a member.
Yeah, if you're a registered member, part of the incentive is you get a free copy of the journal.
okay.
Otherwise, you would have to buy a copy.
Definitely, yes. Okay. Now, we're about to end the first segment, but perhaps in a nutshell, you have given us a rundown of the topics that are expected, but generally, the topics are on maritime culture, spaces, and networks, because that's the theme. But as a parting shot for all our televiewers, aside from inviting them later on, is there a way by which people can just come in, or there is a registration?
There's a
I think
registration.
yes. Also, no. Ano ba yun? How do you say it? Mga like they just come in at any time. No, because there is a registration, and after all, the participants have already been identified. But
Yes.
lastly, as a parting shot, is there a way by which policymakers can probably refer to your abstracts, to the papers that are presented, and make this as a basis for some decisions that they would be doing in
Yeah.
the future?
Yeah, they could. And if they would like to get an idea of what are the details of the program, they could go to the website.
Okay, maybe you can mention it, sir. Yes.
www.ugat.org. And then we have the Facebook also. Like
okay.
us in Facebook.
Yeah, oo.
It's ugnayang pag-agham-tao.
Okay,
Like that.
okay. Roughly translated,
Yeah.
that is...
Anthropological Association
there you
in the
are.
Philippines. And
Yes.
then, of course, there's a registration. The registration is 3,500 for
Okay.
3 days. We have snacks and then we have
Yes.
lunch.
So
And then
so
the
no
kit-
walk-in, no
Yeah,
walk-in
okay.
participants.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can pay. They can
Yeah.
actually pay, Miss
There
Aisel,
are-
right?
Yeah, there are
On-site.
walk-in
Okay.
participants.
walk-in participants.
But so long as they pay the registration fee of
Yes.
3,500
And
pesos.
one nice about this, we promoted the bags,
Oh.
conference kit, no?
You should
It's
have brought sana,
made
sir.
by
Oo.
the women of La Libertad.
La Libertad, Negros Oriental.
Negros
That's
Oriental.
also one way by which we can promote our
That's
products
correct.
in Negros
And
Oriental.
of course, I was so eager to invite them to be here because of the Buglasan Festival. that we have.
Exactly.
And every time that we have conference here on Ugat in Negros, in Dumaguete, it always coincides with our Buglasan Festival.
Yeah, because
So
it's usually held in the month of October.
Yeah, it's an add-on experience.
Yes. And Buglasan is still going on until maybe end
24,
of... Yes,
25.
yes. So they will
That's the end also of
definitely
our
still
session.
be here. Yeah, that's a good a way by which we can also promote the province. And I think because there are about 150 to 200 participants coming from all over the country, and some international guests as well, this should be a good time for everyone to promote our tourism potential. So with that, may I thank Dr. Oracion. May I also thank Aisel. Perhaps Aisel, you can very quickly invite our televiewers.
Yes, we'd like to invite you to Ugat. It's a joint conference of the Ugnayang Aghampantao and the Philippine Geographical Society. You don't have to be an anthropologist. Everything is, anthropological. So we'd like to invite the public.
So that's going
yeah.
to be on October 22, this coming
Yeah.
Thursday, up to the 24th, correct? 22, 23, 24 at Silliman University. So thank you very much, Dr. Ike.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Ma'am
you, Miss Aisel. Hope to see you again in
Yes.
your forthcoming endeavors, not only here perhaps, but even outside of Dumaguete. Daghang salamat. So we end this
Salamat,
particular
sir.
segment,
Thank you.
and we will be back after this commercial break. Thank you. We're back, and this is now the second segment of Hashtag SU. My name is Cecil Henove, and tonight, my gosh, how long has it been since I have met and talked to this lady? She's actually a former student of ours. Of course, she's an alumna of Silliman University College of Mass Communication, but now she is making waves. I'd like to describe her that way. Making waves in the U.S., and I'd like to introduce her to our televiewers. She is actually from Mindanao, where I also come from, but she has come over to Dumaguete for a nostalgic visit to her alma mater. Friends and fellow Negrenses, may I introduce to you Miss Effie. She now calls herself Effie Azarcon Barker. Hello, Ping
Hi,
Ping.
how are you?
Ping Ping. She has always been Ping Ping to me from way back, but now look at her. She has grown. My gosh, huh?
Thank you
But
for having me.
yeah, not a single pound actually has been added to you, Ping, huh? But my gosh, how long has it been since we last talked, except the Facebook episodes that we have?
Right.
Years.
Right. Well, I graduated 15 years ago.
15 years, my gosh.
That was
Okay.
1999 when I graduated.
Okay.
But I came here, I believe it was 2008. So
Yes, I remember
roughly
that.
Seven,
Yeah.
seven years
Yes,
ago.
I remember. I think we also met each other the last time you were here.
Correct.
But
Correct.
you're coming here, actually, you're hitting two birds with one stone because you've been very productive over the last few months back in the U.S. And also now you have something to share to our televiewers.
right.
No? There is a milestone that many of our Silimanes are actually interested in. And I'd like you to tell them that straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Yeah.
Right, yes. So it was in August. It was the end of August. That,
This year, August of this year.
correct. Yeah, it was actually the Founders Week celebration in Silliman when an alumna, also a Malcolm Hiponia, is also a member of the Silliman University Alumni Association of Southern California.
Ah, okay,
These are
yes.
the Alumni Association of in Los Angeles.
Yes, okay.
And
Where you
so-
are based, right?
Right. He was actually researching of the early American missionaries who came to Silliman University. This was in response to the invitation or a challenge, as he called it. He was challenged by his professor, Ian Kasukot.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was challenged to research on the gravesite of Dr. Hibbard.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. What happens is he was doing a research on the early missionaries and he posted it in Facebook. And then Maki, I call him
That's,
Maki,
yeah, that's,
saw that.
that's Malcolm Hiponia,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
And then apparently Ian was able to mention that the couple spent their retirement in Pasadena retirement. And so he said, oh, Pasadena is just close by. Maybe I could go and research that. And it's like, yeah, well, why don't you go search for the gravesite and take a photo? So from there, he
So that's how
started-
it started, no? Okay.
Exactly. So he started looking in Google, and nothing came up. Nothing came up, but for some reason the name Laura Hibbard would pop up. But until he found an article that mentioned Jonathan Livingston, who apparently is the child of the Hibbards. But there was no enough connection that he could really confirm that that's the child of this couple. So he did a little bit more research on that. So he went into the U.S. Census, and until he found an article written by, I have to look at the name because the name was Ligaya Simpkins.
Ah, yes, of course. She's
Yes.
another
She's an
alumna.
outstanding
Yes,
Suleimanian.
exactly.
Right, and
An
mentioned
article was written by Ligaya Simpkins.
Yes.
Ligaya Magbanwa Simpkins.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, so it mentioned the name of the second child, the sibling of Jonathan. Jonathan Livingston was the one that he found in one of the articles. And then that mentioned that his parents went to the Philippines as missionaries. So with that information, he wasn't sure, so he continued researching until he found the article of Magbanwa and mentioned the second sibling. And so that's when he looked on where they buried. And then when he finally found where exactly, which cemetery, that they were in Los Angeles, that's when he actually asked me, like, do you want to come with me? Let's try to find out.
Okay.
So we went to Forest Lawn.
That's the name of the
Correct. It's in Glendale.
cemetery? Okay.
Yes, it's in Glendale in California. So we went over. I went with him, and it was just him and I. And we started about 2 o'clock.
How big? Sorry, how big is this one?
This is very huge. It's a massive
My
cemetery.
gosh. Okay.
This is 267 acres.
267 acres. Okay. And then what did you do? You walked or you?
Yeah, so we went inside. I said, Mac, I don't think we can find this just by walking all this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. no?
Right, right.
Okay.
So I said, why don't we go to the
Office,
office and get a map? And so I was sort of like, oh, you're really a journalist, you know? And so that's one thing that came up to my mind when we came here. So they gave us a map, but it wasn't really much of a help because
Why not? Why not? Why
they highlighted the wrong spot.
Oh.
So we went all the way going up and down, and so he finally decided to. And this is a cemetery also where Michael Jackson was buried.
Okay.
At that time when we went,
okay.
it was Michael Jackson's birthday.
Really?
So there were
Okay.
fans all over the cemetery.
Ah.
And so I said, okay, why don't you just go down? Because I can't take it anymore. I'm so tired. So he went down by himself. He went in there near the mausoleum. And then I don't know how he did it because I didn't see it anymore. I was
Okay,
upstairs looking
okay,
at
yeah.
it. And so finally when he found it, I went down and I was like, oh my God, there's really David Hibbard
And Laura Hibbard.
right
yes.
next to each other.
Yes. Okay.
So when we found it, I took a lot of photos. I was already afraid at the time when it was already a little bit dark.
Okay.
I was like, we might not be able to find it now. And so when we found it, I took photos, and he said, can we tell the rest of the members of the alumni, are we going to come here and bring some flowers? What are we going to do? Now what? We found it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
they
then-
were beside each other,
Yes.
David and Laura.
Yes, they were beside
Okay,
each other. It was it was David who
passed away first?
1966, and Laura was 1969. And so,
Not too long after pala,
right,
no?
so
Okay.
we texted the members. At first, we texted Faith Manaksaka Duran, who is the president of the alumni. And they said they were all busy because it was sort of like a short notice. And like, can we just go in next week? And I said, no, Maki, we have to go in tomorrow because this is the Founders Week.
Yes, because it was August, right?
If we come back next week, it's
It
sort of
would
like,
be September, and that would not have any significance at all, maybe,
exactly.
perhaps, no?
So we told them that it doesn't matter if it's just you and I. Let's come back. Let's bring flowers. But fortunately, they were so responsive. everybody was excited. It's like, okay, let's just go. So we had Ate Lynette Labuntog's husband as a minister. Went in there, so we had a short reflection.
You held a
Yeah.
memorial service.
Yes, we really had a memorial
Ah,
service.
good,
We brought
okay.
flowers
Yeah.
and there are probably about 11 of us. Ate Eva,
That's good.
Dimi,
That's good.
and Ate Faith's husband, Kuya Jesse.
So, can you imagine, it's truly a milestone, Ping, because after all, it's the first time ever that
Yes.
alumni were able to find the tombstone and the grave site
Yes.
of David and Laura Hibbard, who are our founders, actually, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
David as the first president and Laura also as the first faculty member. Wow, can you imagine?
Yes, exactly. It was very momentous event. And in fact, for me, where I was there, I didn't feel the euphoria until everybody was there and they were like, I was really surprised. We didn't know because they had no idea Mackie had been researching.
Yes.
The Alumni Association didn't know that he was
Correct,
researching. And so when we found it, we invited him to go. And then so I went in there. I wanted to document everything.
You were able to get the footage?
Yes.
Yeah, I
had
think
a
it's being
footage.
shown now.
Right. Yeah,
Ah,
that's us.
Yes, great, great,
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
oo. Some
So-
of those that you actually took. What's that? David Hibbard. There you are.
Yes, 1966.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
These are photos of the grave site already.
Correct.
In
Yes.
Pasadena, California. Correct? Is that correct?
Yes, it's in Forest Lawn.
Glendale, California. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But they retired in Pasadena, California.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that was really momentous. And like I said, I didn't feel the euphoria until everybody was there.
Yes.
So I wanted to document everything. I brought my camera. I took photos and I took videos.
Okay.
And then I interviewed individually, and it was very moving.
Wow.
Because one of them, Ate Eva, she's an accountant, and I interviewed her, and even Ate Faith, they were really emotional about it. Ate Eva, when I interviewed her, she was a little bit teary and her voice was cracking already. And she was like, I can't believe that they're just here in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
can you
I had
imagine
no
after
idea.
so many years of you
Yeah.
having lived in California or Los Angeles and even Maki himself and all the other alumni? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So anyway, what started it all was this challenge given by
Mr. Kasokot.
Ian Kasokot, one of the professors of Maki, right?
Right, yes,
Okay.
yes.
What else have you brought? And can we show it now
Right,
to our
we had a video.
televiewers?
Yeah, and that interview that I did to you, where it was very emotional. Yeah, I had a video. I was able to document
okay.
everything.
Okay, can we show it now? Is there some audio also that
Yes,
went
there is
with
an audio.
Great, great.
yeah.
Okay, let's try
Let's
to watch this, and then perhaps while it's being shown, we can also take time,
Watch.
especially if we can explain it.
This is Effie Barker, and we're here in Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale, California, to witness this momentous event for Silliman University Alumni Association of Southern California, because one of their members, Malcolm Hiponia, found the gravesite of the founding members of Silliman University in Dumaguete, Dr. David Hibbard and Laura Hibbard. Now, this is actually the place, this is the cemetery where he found this gravesite. This is a massive cemetery. This is 267 acres. It wasn't an easy task for this researcher to find this gravesite. The alumni members are here. They gathered here to celebrate this event. Let's watch this.
It means a lot to me because Silliman University won't be there if not for Dr. David and Laura Hibbard, who are the founders of Silliman University. And it is about time that we will honor them here, not only in Dumaguete City, but where their grave is. As you see, it's here. David Hibbard and Laura Hibbard. So generations to generation should know who really are the founders. And because of them, we got this good education from Silliman University. It was awesome for me. It was kind of emotional that we owe this to them. If not for them, we won't have this kind of feeling being a Sillimanian, where the Silliman spirit is so different from other schools. because as a Silimanian, you always feel the love of a fellow Silimanian wherever you go, in different states, in different countries. Because of that, I feel emotional about it.
Well, of course, having graduated in Silliman University, I know that David Hibbard and Laura Hibbard were the couples who, the missionaries who actually started or founded Silliman University. It started like a sort of a school for boys, and they've chosen to have the place in Dumaguete. Now, mind you, that trip that they did to the Philippines was founded by was funded by Horace B. Silliman, but they were the missionaries who accepted the challenge to actually start that school in the Philippines. And this was in 1901, a long time ago. This is indeed a historical event. In fact, it never came to my mind that they would be buried right here in Glendale Forest Lawn. I know that in the past we were toying, me and a group of other Silimanians were toying with the idea of visiting the graveyard of, or the resting place of Horace B. Silliman, and also of finding the Hibbards, but I never thought about it until early this morning when I got a message on my messenger saying about the fact that some of our alumni, Maki, Hiponia, and who was with Maki and other people, this was on the text message saying that the David Hibbard and Laura Hibbard is indeed buried right here in LA. Oh, I was quite surprised, and I was quite excited, to be able to come and pay homage to these two couples. Me being, of course, a product of Silliman University, having experienced the life at Silliman, having gotten my education in Silliman, which I could actually give credit to what I am right now with my career and with what I'm doing. I have to say to the young Sillimanians that you are very much privileged to have attended an excellent school, not just academically, but in terms of the spiritual aspect of it. There's the spiritual sense, that help mold you into whatever you are and whatever you do at this point, and that we should not forget the history, because history is what makes us who we are right now in the present.
If you mention about David Hibbard, our first president, we usually go to that pier where we take a bath, take a dip in the pier, but all I see is that big statue facing the Rizal Boulevard. So I wondered who this guy is. What has he done? Because he has a statue there. So I read, it says there, David Hibbard. And during the course of my school days, finally I got to know him, what he did for Silliman, what sacrifice together with his wife. So I think we owe a lot to him for starting this school, and we are so privileged, and we're so lucky that they have really chosen. Among all those cities and places, not only in Asia, but particularly in the Philippines, and most especially there, they started in Dumaguete City, the city of gentle people. So my message to all of you, you have to remember where it really started. You may go out, you may see a lot of places. You have garnered, you have earned your degrees, and yet one day you have to look back and say, this is where I belong, Silliman University. Dr. Hibbard and his wife are buried here in Southern California. What an honor for us. So even if it is short notice, we really made sure that we had to be here where they were laid to rest this part of town, Glendale. This is actually a little northeast of LA or Los Angeles, and we are privileged as a association of the university that we were able to really pay our respects even for over 100 years past.
Katong ka actually gikuha na ko sa reference katong ka Simpkins na confirm na ako na nasa anak na Hall ngalan katong ka Simpkins na article.
Nga tungod sa kang Simpkins nga book.
Oh, so tungod ato.
So but how did you know nga naa dinhi?
Google.
Agi Google.
Di man na makitaan sa Google. Pero finally nakita na mo sa 1940 census, US Census.
Oh my gosh, that's some research you did.
Oh, dito ni gawas ang ngalan ni
Census?
wala ni gawas ang ngalan ni David, ni gawas ang ngalan ni Laura.
Laura first.
And from Laura dito na ni gawas ang ngalan ni
Una
David.
siguro namatay si Laura?
No.
Dili
So,
siya.
David.
Si
David is 1966.
Ayan. Nag-part pala siya sa shade. Kaya
Part siya sa shade kasi
ang layo-layo
So,
niyang part. Ako naiinitan.
This place must be one.
this has
Very,
been
very
here for a
old,
long
no?
time.
Okay, mo ni mga
You know,
karapat.
I'd like to be here.
This
At
side
least
of
even
the,
centuries later, you'll still be remembered.
Palit na.
And so, Lord, we thank you for that provision. And today, as we commemorate, proceed, Lord, to your word, we ask that you would be with us even as we continue on the week, so that their brethren may benefit. And you know what? I benefit from the Americans coming to the Philippines. You directly benefited from the ministry of these people as they established their school. You graduated there. You were trained there.
Ever lovely, ever dear, loyal will we be to Silliman. Here's a cheers, boys, 3 times 3. Silliman, our alma mater, Silliman beside the sea.
This has been Effie Barker for Silliman University Alumni Association of Southern California. We have seen the activities that had happened here. The alumni associations were here and to gather and celebrate this momentous event. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.
Silliman, our alma mater, Silliman beside the sea.
Imagine talking about milestones being this is the very first time that that footage and that video is actually shown.
Correct.
You have not even shared this in the U.S.,
no.
not in any channel in the U.S., not with anyone for that matter, not even with not even among family or friends.
No.
But right here in hashtag
Exactly.
SU. Wow.
That is correct.
This is truly an honor and a privilege,
Of course,
right?
of course,
And yes, before I forget, this is going to have a replay. This show will have a replay tomorrow at 12:30 noontime in the same channel.
Oh,
but
perfect.
please, we will also be uploading this on
Correct.
YouTube
Yes.
very, very soon. Perhaps an hour from now.
Yes, an hour from now we're gonna upload it on YouTube channel.
Wow, and that's also another milestone, the very, very first time. Now, very quickly, Ping, please tell us how life has been in the U.S. for you. You recently earned a certificate in journalism
Yes.
from one of the top 10 universities in the world, the University of California in Los Angeles.
Yes, that
Tell
is
us about
correct.
that experience.
Right. Well, life in America is not really like a bed of roses all the time. It's a lot of a challenge. But for me, maybe because I'm well educated, I will speak English very well. I didn't really experience any discrimination at all whatsoever. But I've always been very adventurous, and I always want to blend. And in regards to my certificate, I wanted to get additional knowledge, and so I went into UCLA. My husband was looking for a program, and then I liked it, and I really had a lot of fun going to school. And for 8 years, I've been working in a financial services. But every time I go to UCLA, not only it has the same kind of feeling as Silliman campus, where there's a lot of trees and all that. But I always have this different feeling of happiness that I couldn't really get in outside. I was at work. I mean, I'm happy with work, but I'm more happier at school. So that's great. I finished it just in June. Journalism certificate with concentration in media studies
And wow, and yes, you even finished with honors, right?
with
My God, with distinction, yes.
Yes,
Truly, truly proud of how you have gone this
Right.
far, Ping, no? Yeah, and very, very quickly, you also were able to produce a segment in G. Tonji. She's a famous TV personality who is now in LA, right? And she has a show. It's a Filipino show, right?
Yes, it's the first local television, first talk show in Los Angeles that's daily.
Okay.
Because there's
daily,
no
huh?
other daily talk show that's cater for Filipinos.
Okay.
And she is the executive producer at the same time she's the host, and I work with her during my
Okay.
internship, and I pitched my story on my second day. I pitched a story about the young Filipino women marrying an older American men.
Okay.
Because this is a great phenomenon. There's a phenomenon about
Growing
it.
phenomenon,
Yes,
yes.
and there's a lot of people, whether here in the Philippines or in the States, there's a lot of eyebrows raised about
Okay,
it. And so we interviewed couple American men and young Filipino women.
So it's not the other way around. It's always American men, older,
Yeah, older.
and as against
Young Filipina.
Young Filipina. Very,
Correct.
very specifically, American
Yes.
older men and young Filipino women. Very quickly, again, what were you able to find out?
And we're talking about 35 years age gap. So we found out that we talked also to an immigration attorney, and we found out that these young women really decided to marry foreigners, even they're older, because
What were their
this is
reasons?
very surprising, because the number one reason is they feel that the foreigners, in general, that includes American men, are more loyal.
More loyal,
Yes.
can you imagine?
And I was stunned with that. I was so
Yeah,
surprised with
exactly.
that, knowing that we're Catholic country.
Yes.
But that's what came out in the survey.
And we're
then
a very close-knit family,
Correct.
family ties. No?
Yes, and
we
the
have
second-
close-knit family ties.
Right, and the second reason was, of course, the financial aspect. Filipino women are very simple, and sometimes there are instances that it didn't really work. They're not so happy, but as long as their needs and they can send money to their families, they're okay with it. And the American men decided to marry even if they're young. It's because sometimes they don't feel the age anymore, but also the Filipino women are good housemakers and homemakers. And then they're not as career oriented as the American women. So those are the answers that came up in our
Yes.
interview.
In fact, we were mentioning Maki Hiponia, right? And we saw him on the footage. I think we can even have a connection with the first segment of our show. Dr. Ike Oracion, incidentally, was the mentor
Yeah.
of Maki Hiponia. And you know what you actually said about the results of your interviews on
American.
older, American men marrying young Filipino women. That also has a sociological and anthropological viewpoint. Can you
You were
imagine?
able to connect that
yes,
right away.
we were able to connect that. Wow, can you imagine? So, but
Yeah.
it was not autobiographical, of course. No. It was a segment of a show for G-Ton-G that you were able to produce
Right.
only on your second day as did you
As
work
an
there
intern.
as an intern?
As an intern,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
It was
that's
an
right.
episode.
Yes,
It was an
okay.
episode that
Okay.
we had.
Okay.
And we interviewed a journalist and a young Filipino who was
And
not-
how many couples were you able to interview? For
we were
that,
able to interview 3 of them.
Okay,
The
yes,
first
yes.
interview that we had was a retired journalist in
Okay.
Filipina who
Okay.
is a medical technologist. Yeah.
And what is interesting about this is that talking about milestones again, it had how many
Yes.
views? How
Yes.
many?
I checked last night. It was already 20,000 views in YouTube channel.
20,000. Oh,
Yes.
wow. So that's exactly how you can promote a show and also make people interested in a particular topic. No? And this one is a phenomenon. And even if we can actually go on and on forever, simply talking about that particular topic, right? And it will not
Exactly.
go stale, It will
No.
still be as interesting as ever. So, in a nutshell, Ping, life has actually been good to you, right?
It's great. It's wonderful. It's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
no? And from here on, onwards, plans of settling in the
Yeah.
Philippines or making it good in the U.S.? Yes.
Right. I'm leaving already in 2 days from now, going back
Okay.
to Los Angeles.
Okay. Wow,
and I'll
yeah.
be looking for a job there in the media. I really wanted to be a TV
Yes,
reporter.
yes,
Basically in
yes.
the news per se. I want to
Correct.
be a TV
Correct.
news reporter.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working on that.
That's great. That's great. So
Right.
it's really a great combination. Your Bachelor of Mass Communication degree, which you got at Silliman University, coupled with your such an honor to have a certificate. No, it's really a great achievement on your part to get a certificate in journalism, major in media studies,
Yes.
graduating with distinction, and being able to make a go of it in a country like the U.S. Can you imagine? And
Yes.
as you had mentioned, you did not experience any discrimination at all.
No, not
Nothing
at all.
Yeah, very
They
good.
liked
very
it
good.
because I have something to put in the table as
That's
a
true.
Filipino.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great to be a Filipino.
Correct. Definitely. So from here on, as you had mentioned, you're going back to the U.S. and perhaps as a way of encouraging our young students, whether they are taking mass comm or any other course for that matter, because after all, this is a Silliman show. What can you tell them? Make it big, hit it big, and so on.
Aim high, and whatever you really wanted to do, just do it. Keep doing it. And for me, that's why I wrote an article about it. It's in my website that I managed. I said in my article, I chased my first love all over again.
Yeah.
For the second time.
I read that. Yes, I remember.
Where I really had to chase it again because this is what I wanted to do.
Correct.
So if that's what you wanted to do, just keep doing it.
Yes.
And don't be shy to ask help. People doesn't know what you need. People doesn't know what you wanted. All you have to say, all you have to do is just say it.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Yes,
Can you
yes.
help me? Yes.
Yeah.
That would be my great advice to the young students.
Yes, and here you are. You're almost hitting it in the big time, so to speak, no? And yes, chasing your dream and being able to realize it at this point in your life. But you're still young, very young. The world is at your feet, and this is all for your taking. So
Right,
once
okay.
again, thank you, Ping.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very
Right,
much
it's my
for that milestone as well, for sharing it right here on #SU.
Yes.
None other. So we will be on YouTube very
Exactly,
soon.
yes, that's
very soon,
correct.
perhaps in a few hours from now. And we will have a replay as well tomorrow on this particular episode at 12:30 noontime. And like us also at Facebook.
Correct,
Right?
that's at
Okay,
Facebook.
so thank you, Ping.
My
I
pleasure.
wish you well.
Thank
I
you.
hope we can see each other once again. Definitely, God willing, of course, wherever it may be.
Right.
Here in the US or wherever. So send my regards to our Alumni Association.
Thank you.
there
Thank you for
and
having
to
me.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. So with that, friends, we once again bring to a close another live episode of #SU. We hope to see you again next Monday, and maybe I'd like to announce our guests. So we will have guests representing the PGCA, the Philippine Guidance Counselors Association, because they will also be holding their mid-year conference right here in Dumaguete City by next week. So once again, a pleasant evening to one and all. This has been Cecil Henove bidding everyone a pleasant evening.